I don't know. I just feel like it needs to be shared. It's freaking amazing. It's the Tiger King cast. Who's who?
He's done a terrible job here, frankly. I'm
really?
having a hard time even picking him. I'm guessing that Stallone is supposed to be Jeff Lowe.
Yeah, and the chick in the middle is the Tiger King herself.
And then there's that bitch Carole Baskins.
In the back,
now that
the
bitch
dog.
Carole Baskins, I hope she dies. And dude, his voice is hilarious. The entire
You're gonna get a bullet in your head.
He's
if it's
incredibly
the last thing I do.
If that's the last thing I do, it's the last thing I do. But at least I'll take that horrible bitch out with me. And you know what, Carole Baskin, and like this is Queb, the way he is. It's just this Tiger King, just saying straight up shit like, Carole Baskin, next time I see you face to face, I'll fucking kill you. How you like that? How you like that? I'll put this bullet right between your fucking teeth, out the back of your head, and then he's doing a radio show. Or a video radio show,
essentially.
A podcast, effectively. And like the guy who was making like the films, he's like the guy who smoked the cigs that apparently was a creep Kyle was talking about. Is just like, he was obsessed with it. He was obsessed with this online show. I don't know if we ever had more than 80 people watching, but every night he had to do shit.
The Tiger King at one point said, "People don't come here for the tigers; they come here for me." And when I heard that, I thought it was crazy. But then as time passed, I was like, maybe that's not so crazy. Maybe his personality does turn a couple of cats in the weeds into something amazing, where you're just
come
like,
for the tigers, come back for the crazy.
His personality is a big selling point. That's true. Like he's a wacky dude.
You know what my favorite part is? I think one of the most hilarious parts of the whole show to me. Essentially, one of his employees gets his arm. It's a transsexual person, by the way. He prefers that pronoun.
What?
Yeah,
that girl. The girl with her arm ripped off?
You're going to misgender this individual after you've been told?
I thought she was all girl.
Had no idea.
False.
She identifies as a man. How do you know this?
Yes,
How do you know this?
Because I've been digging into this show all fucking week, Taylor. I'm obsessed.
She identifies as a man?
She identifies as a man. What gave it away? The Levi jeans and the skinhead haircut and the fact she served in 2 wars?
She just looked like a kind of standard lesbian.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe you just misgendered her.
Gosh.
Double misgender. Strike 2.
Oh. Bigot alert. Hey, I'm Anthony Bigatoni.
Hey!
I didn't know. I was like, I actually thought it was the other way. I was like, she used to be a guy because she's so girl. It never even occurred to me she was anything but girl. And
I mean, that's what everybody watching felt.
I feel like I need to pull up a picture of this individual that Woody thought, she's so girl. This reminds me,
Dude,
this is just like the rafting trip when that bitch had a happy trail better than mine. And Woody was like, that's a hot girl, right?
She was smoking. That was
Single
a fit
Woody.
chick.
It's
That
not even about
jawline,
the look as much as like, if I could have watched the scenes with that person with my eyes closed, like, and it would have obviously been female voice, you know?
Her name
like,
was Sass, right? I can't Google her.
Saf. I think it was like SAFF was her nickname.
Thank you. Quick check.
Yeah, the voice was totally female sounding.
She didn't even try to do guy voice. Although, now that I look at her through that lens, I do see her vibe a little dude-ish.
If I'm being 100% honest, every time she's on screen, I'm looking at her fucked up stump arm.
Yeah.
I mean, Queb, like, does the person in the middle there vibe all girl to you?
Not at all.
Queb, let me get that picture. Isn't very representative. I think I.
It's the first one that pops up, but okay, we can keep.
That's
oh
her.
yeah, there's a lady.
No,
She's
but
a lady.
So for the stream, they're looking at the same picture you are.
She's a lady.
No, but you can see that
She has
a
this
damn
person.
the big difference to me is the skin. Her I think she's wearing makeup.
American woman,
Makeup.
stay away from me.
You don't even have to look at her. Like the voice was enough immediately. Like she's like the androgynous look physically. The second
This looks like
the
Optic
voice
Hex's
starts coming
little
out,
brother.
when you heard the voice, were you thinking, "Oh, that's a male voice"? Of course not.
Look, I'm just saying she's not all woman, and I'm letting you know she's he is trans and he prefers to be.
I'm
to go by
letting you
those
know.
pronouns.
I
You know
only
what?
care about. I want to hear stories about the arm getting ripped off.
Well, I was trying to get there. You started misgendering and you double misgendered, and then Queb had to be convinced that Woody is crazy when it comes to judging women's
I like my women to
bodies,
be a
faces,
little
and,
bit
you know,
dude.
personalities. So the best part to me is when she sticks her arm in one of the cages, Queb, and the tiger rips it off, and she's laying on the ground all bloody, and they're tending it to it. Well, the Tiger King, he runs he runs to his trailer first, and he gets his EMS bomber jacket because he wants to be dressed appropriately for the occasion. You got to really delve deep to notice these little details.
Yeah.
Then he goes to the gift shop. Keep in mind, Queb, these roadside. Yes. Oh, yeah. Keep in mind, these roadside zoos are a bit like a carnival mixed with a petting zoo, mixed
It's
with
not
like
safe.
a
It's
restaurant.
definitely not a petting zoo.
It is. No, they
They
pet the
let you play
cubs.
with cubs.
Little
Yeah.
They let you
cubs
play
are
with little
big.
baby
Okay.
tigers. Yeah, the kids, everybody, they're all out there with these animals. Well, there's a gift shop with shirts and knickknacks and keychains and all that bullshit. I'm going to say there's 8-9 customers in there, mixed group. You know, fathers, daughters, husbands, wives, everybody's in there. He addresses the crowd. He says, "I just want to be the first to let everyone know there's been an incident in the park. Someone had their arm ripped off. If you would like refunds, I will give them, or I can give you a credit for a rain check, and you can come back another day."
That
And
was
then he
one of
goes-
the funniest scenes he did.
And then
because
he walks
goes-
away in private, and he goes, "I am never going to financially recover from this."
And he's crying as he's like he starts
Meanwhile-
crying like his eyes are watering, and you think, man, he's really thinking about his employee that he
Oh
loves
my
because they're all a big family. He's
God.
like, I'm never
I
going to
need to watch
financially
this show.
recover from this.
I
And-
need to
and
watch this.
The way, like,
Look at
I'm
that
glad you
stump.
pointed that out, Kyle, because I also thought that was hilarious when he goes into the gift shop and he starts out a little diplomatic, like he's gonna kind of downplay it and say what happened, but not in so many details.
Yeah.
But he just straight up says, like, now one of our employees stuck their arm in the cage, and the tiger tore it off. Not like there was an injury, there was an incident.
Yeah.
No, the tiger tore the arm off, and now I'll give you a refund. It was.
It
Like,
started off
he's
with
a
like,
crazy
"Hey,
person.
I want to tell you, and don't want you to be reading it in the papers and stuff
Yeah.
like that." So it seemed like he wasn't going to really dive into it, but then he did.
He does.
So,
He got your
the
arm.
question
Yeah,
is,
you gotta watch this show. This show's
Why?
dope.
Why was his arm in the cage?
Because it's a like
He
it's
reached
like
into the
those
cage when he
cages
shouldn't
with
have. It was a mistake.
It was a bad decision. Yeah,
Probably like manipulating something inside the cage or grabbing a thing they dropped.
they might have
or
been
like,
loving
oh,
up the
feeding the-
tiger.
feeding the tiger, petting the tiger, something that they shouldn't have been doing, but they did. And the person recognized that it was their fault. So they go to they go into the hospital, and the surgeon says, "Look, it'll take 2 years of reconstructive surgeries, but we can save the arm." And he says, "No, that would look bad if I were in the hospital for that long. Take the arm." And they're back in the zoo 7 days later.
I felt bad for him when that happened. Like, come on, fix your arm. Like, take some
Right.
time off. Don't just say, who needed that one? Like, no, we only have
I
two,
have another
and
one
you
here.
still work at a tiger park, bitch. Like, come on, like, go to Jiffy Lube or something. Like, not
I can see her losing more. Like, oh, I wish I took the same arm twice. That'd be so much
And
better.
they
You could
show
shorten
him-
the stump a little.
They show him working at the like park afterward. Clearly, no longer a useful employee. Like, can like using the stub to like
man.
kind of hold down the net like on a little
I
lengths or
thought
something.
she
It's
was
like,
useful. Maybe not as good as she could have been, but she was out
I
there
bet the
working.
ladies love that though.
That's thinking.
oh,
Your interpretation. There is a scene in there where Tiger Joe, what's his name? Tiger King, whatever. The
Joe
Tiger King,
Exotic,
Joe
where
Exotic.
Joe Exotic, thank you,
Joe
is
Schreibogle.
convinced. So he thinks that someone put cologne on his boots, which tigers apparently just love. The tigers are going after his cowboy boots. They start dragging him. He takes his gun out, pops it next to the tiger, catches it, threatens the tiger. I will put this bullet right between your eye. Do you think somebody sabotaged his boots?
I saw an interview with someone who used to work at the park, and they said that they thought that he probably was in a different enclosure and like stepped in or on something that smelled funny to the tiger, like I don't know, giraffe piss or kangaroo shit or an orangutan thumbnail or something like that. I think it's pretty unlikely that anybody did anything like that. He said that the idea that nobody came to his aid because everybody hates him was bullshit, though, because he would never want somebody to run in there unless they were trained. And the only person who was trained to be in there with 300 or 400 500-pound tigers would be the guy operating the gate. And like their number one quarantine procedure is the guy stays at the gate at all times. Like the gate is the most important thing. The cats getting into the park is like the ultimate no-no. It's like if you're in a submarine or in a spacecraft, it's like maintain the airlock. You know, it's one of those deals. So sense. Yeah, I think that's bullshit. But it was very telling when he's like, that bitch Carole Baskins had somebody put cologne on my boot. And then they go to Carole Baskins and she's like, well, I wouldn't put cologne on his boot if I wanted a tiger to eat him. I'd use sardine oil. They go crazy for that. And they're like, you fed your husband to the fucking tigers, you bitch. You got your tiger Costa and your fucking tiger Rika ate that motherfucker. That's where he is. That's where he is.
She's like the epitome of that. Like, what is it? That old saying? It's like, methinks doth thou protest too much. Where like it'll be a normal interview with her during the show, and then they'll be like, now I just want to ask you, Carole, a lot of rumors going around about you feeding your husband to a tiger and killing him and having the evidence hidden that way. And she'll go from like mostly a normal interview to like,
she gets Hillary Clinton eyes.
Oh, that is just the silliest thing you could ever say. How ridiculous of you. Now, I would never, with a bunch of eye rolls, feed anyone to a cat. That's cruel. And it was when she was doing one of those interviews, and I'm like, this fucking cunt fed her husband to a cat.
Yeah,
absolutely. I would go on the stand and testify without having any knowledge.
None required.
How do you know? Required. Did you see the eye rolls?
Did you watch the show, bitch?
She looked like Hillary. She reminded me so much of Hillary Clinton, telling us that she did not wipe that server. She just. You
mean with the cloth?
Boom! I hate that one. I hate Carole Baskins. My levels of hatred. Let's see. Who was it that I was recently saying that I hated more than Hillary Clinton? It's another politician. No, it's she's awful. But the world hates her enough already. It's Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren, worst human being with a vagina alive.
Oh, Hillary easily out-hateables.
You got to watch more Elizabeth Warren clips.
You're right. I haven't really watched any of her clips.
She looks like my fucking 4th grade teacher, Mr. Thompson. Those glasses, this fucking fake Indian nonsense.
This is Kyle's 4th grade PTSD coming out.
No, my 4th grade teacher was a lady, and I talked about that cunt last week. So that's nonsense. But she is my most hated person with a vagina on the planet. Then Hillary Clinton, then Carole Baskins. That's the trifecta of
I would definitely rank Carole Baskin over Elizabeth Warren as far as dislikability. But that's also because I don't watch Elizabeth Warren clips. I never really gave a shit. I just watched the Tiger King. So
I legit don't see the Elizabeth Warren hate. Like I don't like I can see why you wouldn't like her policies. I can see why you'd say she's promising things that she doesn't know how to pay for. Like that I can all line up with. But her being just awful to exist in the same room with doesn't hit me like that.
I don't know. I can't think of the clip specifically that like rubbed me the wrong way so much, but I've definitely seen clips of her where I was just like filled with rage watching. She
seems like she'd be obnoxious to be around.
I just hate it. Like she's such a fake, phony fucking person, and it upsets me that other people can't see it.
She is a phony. I mean, she lied about her ethnicity to get a high-paying job at Harvard for fucking years.
I mean, regardless of what the rewards were, she did lie about her ethnicity for years, and that alone is enough. I've heard him go back and forth about what she may or may not have profited or benefited from her lies. The fact that she lied, and that's enough for me.
No, she did profit. Yeah.
Well, in any case, it's irrelevant to me. the fact is that she lied about that for so many years, and I loved when like the head chief of the Cherokee Nation came out and was like, we're getting pretty tired of your bullshit. Like just called her out on it when her DNA test
I'm
came
almost
back.
entirely sure you're some kind of Irish.
Like,
Do you see how my skin looks? Do you see how my name and my name of my children are all silly names with animals and damn positions? Squatting bear, sitting cub, things like that. Your name's Elizabeth Warren. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's
Animal positions.
that
My daughter, one-legged pigeon, really got the short end of the stick.
yeah. Or no, what was it? What was it? Back in the-
My daughter's spread eagle. And my son, Hog Wild. Yeah.
they have cool names.
Spread
Those are
Eagle is the
good-ass
worst
Indian
woman's name, though. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
spread eagle.
Spread eagle.